Welcome to the road to 1 million US dollars. Let's get right into the Bitcoin chart for today, starting on this 4-hour time frame, because we continue to see this bullish divergence play out on this 4-hour time frame here, because we have lower lows in the Bitcoin price and higher lows in the RSI momentum indicator. And typically what this indicates, like I was saying when I confirmed this bullish divergence right here, is either some choppy sideways price action or potentially even a little bit of bullish momentum in the short term. Although zooming out here just a little bit, you can see that we are still in a strong downtrend for the Bitcoin price. So in order to flip much more bullish, even though we have seen this bullish divergence here so far, we would need to see Bitcoin start making higher highs and higher lows in the price, because then we are just getting a different price structure where, like I was saying, we get higher highs, higher lows, instead of lower lows and lower highs. So the key level to actually break above before we can start being a bit more bullish here is actually 63.8K, roughly speaking. Although so long as Bitcoin is not breaking above this descending line of resistance, we are technically still just in a downtrend. Same for clearing this previous high right here. The very first step would actually be to break above this descending trend line, because this break of the trend line could be the first indication for us that Bitcoin is ready to start reversing to the upside and then start making those higher highs and higher lows like I was talking about earlier. Now, as for the Fibonacci levels for Bitcoin, the key level to pay attention to is actually 58.2K, because so far we have seen a bit of a rejection from this level. So the next time you see Bitcoin trading back to the upside, make sure to pay attention to what is happening around this price level right here, because of course another rejection from that level would be very bearish. And then potentially we would be forming this double top pattern right here, where we get two equal highs, and then breaking below the neckline right here would set up a price target to the downside. But of course, we will get to that when I see it. For now, I would just say pay attention to the Bitcoin price around this big level of resistance. And now taking a look at the support and resistance for Bitcoin on the 4-hour time frame. My call from yesterday's video actually turned out to be quite accurate here, because I said pay attention to this blue line of resistance, because so long as we are not trading above this, then we can still get a bit of a rejection from here. And so far, that is exactly what we have seen on this 4-hour time frame. Although we appear to be holding this 56.5K level for now. So I will just repeat what I said yesterday, which is that I technically still view this as a level of resistance, even though we have held it as a level of support on this 1-day time frame. But so long as we do not break above this 58.4K level, I believe that we can still just continue to start trading lower here. And I think this is the first obstacle, the first hurdle to actually cross, to potentially then after get into this next big level of resistance, starting from 60K all the way up to 62.4K for the Bitcoin price. Now, as for support to the downside, in the case that we lose this 56K level, of course, we do have this previous low, which is sitting at about 53.6K. But if we do get that strong move to the downside, I think it is more likely that we are falling into this big level of support, sitting from 53K all the way down to 50,000 US dollars for the Bitcoin price. Now, before I continue with the Bitcoin analysis here, if you want to get access to my trading signals, then go to the description of the video you're watching right now and join the Discord community, which is completely free to do. Here you can actually see, for example, Underdog getting a nice 150% return on that trade, and here another 120% return on their trade. So if you want to get access, then join the Discord community with that first link like I was talking about earlier, and then simply go to this trading signals access channel, where you can see how to get access to my trading signals for free. Now, zooming out to this daily time frame here for Bitcoin and taking a look at this descending channel, I would say so far so good, because yes, we did get that big wick to the downside, but we have seen that before. In fact, we even got daily candle closes below the descending channel after then reversing back to the upside. So for now, I would say so far so good, and it is still completely possible to go back to the top of this range once again, sitting at about 68.5K. But at the same time, like I was saying earlier, we are still clearly in a downtrend, not only for the price action, but also on the daily RSI momentum indicator, where again, We are still in a downtrend, and we have seen multiple rejections from this descending line of resistance. And so long as we do not break out of this or out of this downtrend, we just need to be more cautious and assume that the trend is still down, because it literally technically is. And to the people that are commenting that we are going to 30K, 40K, whatever, I would say it is simply too early to be calling for that, because we are still trading inside this descending channel. And for example, right here, about 2 months ago, we got daily candle closes below this descending channel, which was actually a much worse situation. And then we reversed out of there. And I clearly remember flipping much more bullish when we broke this downtrend on the RSI momentum indicator right here around 61 to 62K. And of course, after that, we saw that big move to the upside all the way up to 72,000 US dollars. And in the case that you weren't here and you weren't reading the comments on those videos at the time, people were saying the exact same thing when we were at these lows. And they were saying, yeah, sell everything, bull market's over. You know, they were calling for much larger pullbacks. And then we just reversed out of there. So I would say for now, everything is showing the exact same symptoms that we saw right over here. And therefore I am waiting, I'm reserving my judgment to say that we are actually going for a much larger bearish trend here, because for now it is simply just a shorter term downtrend. So for now, my strategy is actually just to take short-term leverage trade on the much lower timeframes here, because for me, that is just a lot more profitable than buying and holding spot, especially in these downtrends. It is much more profitable, at least for me personally, to trade with leverage on these lower timeframes and take long and short positions. So moving on to the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, first of all, in this 3-day time frame, where we can't really gather much information from this because we have liquidity to the upside and to the downside. So in terms of downside liquidity, it is sitting at 55.6K. And liquidity to the upside is sitting at 58.8K. So potentially the Bitcoin price can get attracted to these levels. But to get a better picture of what is going on, we need to zoom out a little bit, for example, to this 1 week time frame, where most of the liquidity is sitting at about 58.9K. And there's also a lot of liquidity above that. But to be fair, there is also liquidity to the downside, as low as 55.2K roughly, but this is much less liquidity than the liquidity to the upside, meaning that a lot of people are shorting the Bitcoin price right now on this time frame at least. And typically the Bitcoin price gets attracted to where there is the most liquidity on this chart. So this chart is indicating potentially some bullish momentum coming for Bitcoin over the next week or so. But of course, this is also reliant on what we actually see on the lower timeframes. Like for example, here on this 4-hour time frame with the support and resistance levels. Before we start sweeping liquidity, you need to see some kind of confirmation that we're actually starting to trade to the upside, because until then, like I was saying earlier, momentum is just bearish. This has been today's market update. Thank you very much for watching once again. Also, thank you very much for getting the channel to 3K subscribers. I started this channel only 3 months ago or so, where I was getting, it has more views now, but I was getting like 5 views or something per video just 3 months ago. So this is really awesome to see. And thank you guys so much for that and being so supportive. I hope these videos bring you some value, some education, and some entertainment potentially. Now, before I leave here today, make sure to go to the video description of this video you're watching right now, and then go to this first link to join my crypto Discord, where you can get access to my trading signals for free, like I was saying earlier in the video. And yeah, we'll see you again tomorrow in the next one.